Marcus Chen stood before the assembled council of the Intergalactic Education Authority, his heart pounding as he prepared to present the most revolutionary educational proposal the galaxy had ever witnessed. Behind him, holographic screens displayed data from his 3 years at Stellar Ion Academy, and the results spoke volumes. "You've all seen the statistics," Marcus began, his voice steady despite his nervousness. Before implementing human teaching methodologies, only 12% of students across all species achieved mastery in creative problem-solving. Today, that number stands at 89%. The 17 council members, representing species from across the known universe, exchanged glances of astonishment. The Vexthari ambassador, a being of crystalline structure, pulsed with what the humans had learned to recognize as excitement. Marcus continued, pulling up more data. "The reason isn't some miraculous alien technology. It's something humans have possessed for millennia, the capacity to fail, learn, and adapt. We call it resilience." He gestured to the screens showing the transformation of Stellar Ion Academy. What had once been a sterile institution where students passively absorbed information had become a vibrant hub of discovery. Human students had introduced debate clubs, experimental laboratories where mistakes were celebrated as learning opportunities, and mentorship programs where struggling students received personalized guidance. The Kellian race experienced a 340% increase in innovation patents, Marcus explained, highlighting a particular species known for their rigid adherence to established protocols. The Zentari have reduced educational dropout rates from 67% to just 8%. Even the Dronix Collective, who traditionally required perfect test scores before advancement, now understand that growth requires struggle. Dr. Alyssa Rodriguez, his fellow human educator, stood beside him with confidence. She had witnessed the initial resistance from Dronix administrators who believed Marcus's proposal to introduce collaborative learning would compromise their academic standards. Instead, their standards had soared. "What humans brought wasn't just teaching methods," Alyssa added. "We brought context. We taught students not just the what, but the why and the how. We showed them that failure is data, not shame." The Quarian representative, whose empathic abilities made them sensitive to the emotional aspects of education, began transmitting thoughts of approval across the chamber. Other council members nodded in their species-specific ways. But Marcus knew the real test would come with his final proposal. "Honored Council," he said carefully, "we request authorization to establish a rotating exchange program. Human educators would travel to every signatory species' educational institutions, while we welcome their best minds to learn our methods. Not to replace your traditions, but to complement them." The chamber erupted in discussion, multiple species communicating simultaneously in ways that would have been incomprehensible 3 years ago. But Marcus had learned their languages, understood their values, and respected their concerns. The Vexthari ambassador, who had become one of his closest allies, spoke first. "The human's proposal honors individual uniqueness while advancing collective knowledge. This is the synthesis we needed." One by one, representatives began signaling approval. The Kellian delegate noted that their young were already demanding more human-style education. The Zentari acknowledged that their graduation employment rates had tripled. Even the initially skeptical Dronix Collective agreed, understanding that perfection without innovation was merely stagnation. As the council voted unanimously in favor, Marcus felt something profound shift. He wasn't just a student who had changed one academy. He was witnessing the beginning of a genuine revolution, not through conquest or force, but through the simple act of demonstrating that diversity in thought, acceptance of failure, and collaborative learning could elevate an entire galaxy. That evening, Marcus stood on Stellarian's observation deck, gazing at the stars. His original assignment had been to study xenopedagogy and report back to Earth. Instead, he had ignited something far greater, the realization that humanity's greatest strength wasn't our technology or our biology, it was our capacity to learn from each other, to embrace change, and to believe that every individual, regardless of species or background, possessed infinite potential. the future of education across the galaxy would never be the same. And it had taken one human student, armed with nothing but determination and an open mind, to show the cosmos what was always possible.